Welcome to a new video. So I am finally doing the follow-up to my little New Year's reset. I was going to call this like New Year's reset number 2. That's what I've been calling it in my notes, but then I realized it's not really a reset video. I'm not really resetting here. I'm just going to be showing you a few days in my life of actually taking action toward the goals or intentions that I have set for myself for 2024, because I feel like I have really figured it out. Like, honestly, I feel completely on top of my shit right now. And will it always be like this? No. Have I always felt like this past month? Because it is the end of January, so I've been doing it for a month now. But I haven't felt perfect, and that's okay, because my whole motto for the year is progress over perfection. Like, that's one of the things I am working on. Consistency is my word of the year. So we are just throwing perfection out the window and just focusing on like basically having a higher percentage of days where I'm doing great than a percentage of days where I'm not doing so great, if that makes sense. If you wanted to watch my New Year's reset, where it was really more like my mental reset and prepping for the new year, I will have that linked in a card for you guys. I don't know which corner it shows up in, but whatever. But then you can see the kind of thought process behind these goals, my Notion page and everything. You can see all of that there. Just to give you a little refresher, I have my macro goals, which are basically my intentions for the year. They are the guiding principles that I then break down into smaller goals. But to give you a refresher on what these macro goals are, we have speaking French more frequently, gain control over my finances, establish healthy eating habits and heal disordered eating, keep the house tidy and uncluttered, create content regularly, be more responsible and on top of my workflow, try new hobbies and learning something new regularly, keep on top of habits and organization, grow as a graphic designer, feel healthy and happy in my body, read 125 books, read 25 self-help books, limit time using social media and time wasters, and finally continue my spiritual journey. The way that I wanted to go about these was really by making a system. You always hear about setting systems and not goals, which is great, but I was like, how do you do that? So before the year even started, I was watching a bunch of videos on that, and I ended up getting very, very overwhelmed, which is not great. But I realized that I had to take a step back and just try and make something that would work for me. I am not about that life of toxic productivity, just trying to like fill my days with stuff that is working toward goals that I feel like are what I should be working toward just because other people are saying that. Like, no. I want to make it enjoyable. I don't want to be trudging through endless to-do lists, endless checkboxes that I don't even actually care about, if I'm being honest. So when I was planning out these goals, I made sure that they were things that I really truly wanted to do and found that I could actually dedicate myself to, and knew that I would be able to keep that motivation up throughout the year. Now, motivation comes and goes, and that's totally fine. Like, it's already been up and down throughout this month, and we're only a month into the year, but I feel like for the majority of time, I have felt like so many of these different things have become automatic for me because of the way that I have been implementing them. I probably will do a whole separate video on the system of implementing these goals, to be entirely honest, because I just feel like it is way more in depth. But today I wanted to, or actually over the next few days, I wanted to show you guys how that system is actually working for me and how these goals look like in my day-to-day life, where like I'm just focused on cozy vibes, living my best, like enjoying my life, and still working toward these goals, and it's just not overwhelming me or being unenjoyable. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyways, basically the whole way that I set up these goals in a way where it's kind of mindless and I don't have to think about it as much is setting up a weekly routine and setting up daily routines. This is something that I've struggled with and I've known that I've had to do, but I just was going about it the wrong way, and now I have finally kind of figured it out. So I have a weekly routine set up where each day I have specific tasks that I know that I need to do that day. Actually, to get specific with a goal, for working toward my goal of keeping the house tidy and uncluttered, I have broken down my like weekly reset. You know, you see these weekly reset routines, great, but I was saving it for Sunday, and then Sunday would just be a day where I'm like cleaning, doing all this crap, and I felt exhausted by the time the week was starting. So instead, I've broken it down where I have like 2 cleaning tasks that I'm doing every single day of the week, so then it's not overwhelming. Genius, works out perfectly. Like, it's just so much easier, and I don't always do them. Sometimes I'm like, I really don't feel like it today, but then that's what that Sunday reset is for. It's for catching up on those things that I didn't end up doing throughout the week. But that is the similar thing that I've done for all of these different habits. For example, I actually started filming this video last night because I was doing my meal prepping. So to work toward my goal of keeping up with healthy eating habits and really just establishing them, actually, I was like, okay, what are the habits that I actually need to do to make this a reality? And I realized I had to plan my menu for the week ahead of time, and then I needed to do grocery shopping, and then obviously I needed to meal prep. So I assigned a day for planning my menu, and that day I believe is Thursdays. Yes, so on Thursdays I plan my menu and make my grocery list, and I actually will also make my meal prep list. I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible where I don't have to like go and open the cookbooks when I'm going to meal prep. I just have everything all on one page, on one list, makes it so much easier. But to get into this for a second, when I'm meal prepping, I don't actually go through and like cook a meal completely. I will essentially prepare whatever ingredients I can. And that makes the biggest difference for me, because I can make a menu all I want, but if I'm not following through on it, what's the point, right? But when I actually prepare those ingredients at the end of a workday when I'm super tired and just not feeling like it, I already have all the ingredients prepped, so I don't really need to go through that whole song and dance. It just makes everything so much easier, and I end up 9 times out of 10, I'm not perfect, but 9 times out of 10, I will actually follow through and make those meals. So taking that time to meal prep makes a huge difference. This week was actually very onion heavy on the meal prep because I'm making like a French onion pasta bake later in the week, but almost all the meals that I had to have something oniony cut or whatever, mostly sliced, but my eyes were killing me when I was doing this. It was a journey, but it's all done, right? Like I have all of that done and I feel just ready to go. It is just such a joy to open up the fridge and see everything prepped. I will label them with a little dry erase marker. It makes my life so much easier. But yes, to get to what that goal looks like and how I've broken it down on a weekly basis, I have broken it down to Thursday, planning my menu, making that grocery list, and then actually making that meal prep list. Then on Sundays, I will clean out the fridge, anything that maybe has gone bad, whatever, I will make sure that the fridge is ready, because on Mondays, I then go and do groceries before work in the morning. And then the following day, because I know if I did, like, it's probably more logical to do groceries and then meal prep on the same day. So then you're not putting stuff in the fridge that hasn't been prepped yet, but I couldn't do it. It was too much for me. So instead, I've made it so I do my groceries on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I do my meal prep, and then I'm ready for the rest of the week. It works out just so great. But that's what I've done for all my goals. So you'll be able to see that because I'm gonna put up my weekly agenda page, because at the top of it on my Notion, I have just a breakdown of what the days have and like what their main focuses are. And that just, it makes it so much easier because I'm always trying to do so many things. I never had focus, and this has brought me focus. So yeah, that was a really long-winded explanation of today's video. I'm actually going to eat some breakfast. I am just having raspberries and a banana because I'm not super duper hungry, but I am very excited for this video. I'm just feeling super pumped about it, which is ideal. I feel like having a balanced workflow seems like one of the easier goals on this list, but for me, it's actually one of the hardest ones to accomplish. You've heard me talk about balance for years now. I am just juggling so many different things that I have such a hard time with it. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring out how to like tell myself it's okay to take breaks, so then I don't get to the point where I'm burnt out and I have to take a break. I'm realizing that if I don't take breaks regularly, my body is just going to take that break for for me. I am going to be taken out of the equation, out of the decision, and I'm going to have a break whether I like it or not. But I just get so hyper-focused and sucked into a task that I have a really hard time completely just putting it down if I'm not done with it. And I am really, really working on that. I'm working on being able to revisit something and not having to complete the entire thing all in one go, because that often takes a lot longer than I think because I struggle with time blindness. But I think it would actually be for the best because it would allow me to actually take those breaks when I am intending to. So what I have done to try and work toward this goal is my version of time blocking. Time blocking, as it is for other people, has not really worked for me because it makes me feel too rigid, too strict, and like I have zero free time for things that I just enjoy doing. So what I have done is broken it up into like 50 minutes of working time and then 10 minutes of break, or 45 minutes of working time and 10 minutes of break. Then sometimes I take 15-minute breaks. Honestly, I can't really remember, but I've been using an app which is called Routinery, and this isn't sponsored, but essentially within there, I put like everything that I need to do. I start it right at 9 a.m. when I'm starting my work, and I actually have it set up for my morning and night routine as well, but it will like time things down and then walk me through exactly what I need to do. So I know that once this timer is up, I need to move on to a 10-minute break, no matter what I'm doing. Now, sometimes I will add a little bit of time to that timer if I am like so close to being done and just know it would be easier to finish the task, but I try to respect those break times because that is just something I struggle with so much. So I have this started and I'm going to get started on my to-do list. Now, obviously with Routinery, I'm getting like blocks to do things in, but it's not really talking about what. So what I then do in addition to that is I go to my Notion daily view, and I actually have no sort set up on here. I used to sort it by like the type of task, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these around into the order that I would like to do them in. That way I have an idea of like where I'm going down the list, but it's not so rigid as having from like 1 to 12, I'm going to be working on this. This works so much better just because with that time blindness, I would say that something was going to take like 30 minutes and it ended up taking an hour and a half. More often than not, that was the case. Sometimes I would say something would take 30 minutes and it would take 10, but for the most part, I was underestimating things. So this lets me see what can I realistically get done, what order do I want to get it done in, and then I have a little bit of a time guideline for things. So I'm going to order my day before I actually get started on my work. I'll usually try and do this earlier and like before I'm actually kind of starting my day, but I ended up calling my mom, which is fun. Lunchtime. I have been doing really well with following my schedule, but I did take a little bit of a detour because I had to run some errands. So I went and picked up my prescription, which I had been needing for a while, but I also went and picked up some prints that I had. These are actually really appropriate to show you right now because one of them is my vision board for this year. So I'm very, very excited about that. I was going to frame it and put it up, but I cannot get a frame right now, which I will get into a little bit later in this video. But anyways, because of that, I think I'm just going to print it. So I printed it as, oh, it's one of the bigger ones. Okay, I did these a while ago, so I couldn't remember. So the one thing that I have to put up, these are all going to be prints going up in my little vanity area because I really wanted to set up kind of an inspirational space right there. So this one says, refocus, just don't quit. And I feel like that is something that I will constantly need reminders of. So I wanted to get this little one, just a small print, but I do really like it. Okay, we have my vision board first, and it looks so good. I am so happy with how this turned out. I just love having a little physical copy of it. I wasn't sure of the dimensions that I should do, but I feel like this is a really solid choice. So I love that, and I cannot wait to put it up. Very excited about that. I'm just trying to keep these from Archer because he is looking for things to chew. And then the other 3 prints that I got are all daily affirmations. I just wanted to have that inspirational space, and I felt like affirmations were perfect for that. So we have daily affirmations for self-love, and then we have daily affirmations, release and let go. And finally, daily affirmations, success and financial abundance. So I just got these prints off of Etsy, which is super easy. That's the same with the refocus one, but I am going to put these up maybe a little bit later today. I'm very excited for this. Been much of a crafter, at least in like my adulthood. When I was a kid, I was super creative and artistic, and I always loved doing different things that were just creative. But then at some point I started to realize like I wasn't the best at certain things, and I wasn't even necessarily good at them. So then I just stopped doing them. But I have been trying to really branch out. I am like fully in my grandma hobby era, just all for the coziness and everything, and I am living for it, honestly. So I picked up crocheting. I never would have thought I would do this, honestly. My mom and my sister are both really crafty like that. Like they love to sew and everything, but I always was like, I would just get so frustrated and I don't think I could do it. So I kind of limited myself, but I then saw the little like amigurumi. I can't remember what they're called, but I saw those and I was like, that would be really fun. Maybe that's something I could try, as I was kind of looking for different hobbies and things to do. And I was home at the time, and my mom, I know she had crocheted. So then we went out and we got some yarn, and I'm now making a little scarf. So this is the first thing that I'm making. My mom did like the little bottom bit, but I have done most of this. And I did make a mistake where I didn't realize I was missing the last stitch, but now I have like fixed it, and I'm really happy with it. Like I have honestly been loving doing it, and it is shocking to me, but I am just having so much fun, and I am very excited about it. So I actually kind of have to not force myself, but I need to put it away now because I've kind of taken a longer break than I had wanted to, or at least was supposed to, but it's fine. I do feel like I've kind of slowed down with my to-do list. So what I'm going to do is do a couple of really quick wins. I like to do that to try and keep up that momentum. One of the quick wins is that I have a little bag that I need to sort through and take out the receipts and then bring them up to my office. And then I need to clean the bathrooms up. Like I just clean the toilets and the sink in each bathroom once a week. So I've relocated to the office. I should probably close the window so then you can actually see what's happening, but honestly, I appreciate the light. But I try to come up to my office right after lunch every day, at least on work days. So then I am working half of the day from my office. Sometimes it's more, but sometimes it's less. Usually it might be a little bit more. Today I'm a little bit late because I had a meeting, but just so then I have some kind of like separation and I'm not just working from downstairs on the couch. But now I'm actually setting up to do some walking on my walking pad. So I would love to walk outside, but it is unfortunately quite cold and icy and snowy, and it is actually supposed to freeze and rain. So I'm not really interested in dealing with that. So I just have this walking pad that I got from Walmart that works perfectly. I don't have a full like standing desk. It would be helpful if I did, but I have this here which lifts up to then be a standing desk, which is pretty handy actually. The side that I have it on though doesn't really make sense because I really should have it here since there's space underneath. but I have it where there's the shelf, but it's whatever. I am not all that worried about it. I have some like quick work tasks, so I'm going to do those. But the reason that I'm walking on my walking pad is because obviously one of my goals is to feel healthier and happier in my body. And that is something I majorly neglected last year. I was really into weightlifting and everything in like 2020, 2019-ish area. And then I just stopped last year. I stopped all of it. And now I've been having a really hard time getting back into things. Like last week, I have been trying to set myself small attainable goals. So I just had planned out like 10-minute small workouts for every day, 4 times of the week, 4 days of the week. And I was like, I can do that. But then I couldn't actually do that. So now my new goal has been to walk on the walking pad for 10 minutes, 4 days of the week. And I'm hoping that I can keep up with it. So far I've done 1 day, but it is Wednesday, so I still have more days to go. But I feel like this one is a little bit more like it's really baby steps. Later now. I am done with work for the day, which is really exciting, but I wanted to get to the learning something new portion of my hobbies sort of goal. So really I'm learning something new when I am learning about graphic design, but I also wanted to learn something new in the sense of something creative. So I actually have my whole basket here of different hobbies and stuff that I am working on. I also have like a wish list of hobbies that I would like to try. So I will be doing a video soon on that since it's really something that I am very excited about lately. But to start off today, I wanted to start to learn a little bit about embroidery. So my sister got me this embroidery kit a while ago. It is from Emily June, and it is the Wonderland Down the Rabbit Hole embroidery kit. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you might be expecting here. I finally ended up opening it the other day, and I got so far as just putting the embroidery on the hoop because I've never done this before, but I did that. So you can see what it is kind of going to look like. I don't think there's like a completed picture of it, but you can kind of get an idea there. So I was reading all of this stuff, but then I was really confused because it like shows you the A and B, and I'm like, but where, like how far do you go? I was really confused about that. And then there's like reference photos, and then it just kind of gives you a stitch diagram. So I was like, okay, where am I supposed to start? Like, how am I supposed to start? So I am actually going to have my iPad out, and I'm going to start by watching a little Skillshare course. This video isn't sponsored by Skillshare. I have been sponsored by them before, but I have honestly been using it for everything lately, like with all the new things that I'm trying to learn. So if they wanted to do another sponsorship, I would not be mad about it. But I'm going to find a little embroidery course on here and do that. I think that that is going to be the best way for me to kind of wrap my head around actually starting with this. I've set that I do a Skillshare course every Wednesday, and I think that's just a fun thing. Like, that is in addition to the graphic design course that I'm doing, but I think it's just a good way for me to make sure that I am learning something new and pursuing other interests. And I think what it comes down to, like, this goal is a good one to have because it encourages me to include these things on my to-do list. And I feel like that's a problem that I'll often have, is I'll get so caught up with the to-dos that actually have deadlines, and like obviously those things are important, but the things that I don't end up doing are the things that would really make me feel good oftentimes. So I want to make sure that I am making time for all of those things. I am still kind of confused, but I did a little bit. Like, I finally started it, and I think that was the hardest thing. I was just so scared about it, but I find it's just, I don't know, all the things that I was looking at didn't really tell you how to start. Like, they go over all the stitches and everything, but I was just having a hard time being like, how do I start? Like, I've never even threaded a needle, so I'm sure that I made mistakes in everything, but I did actually enjoy it. The process was very relaxing, so I can definitely, I mean, I've done like a line, so like, but I can see myself continuing. I am going to play around with the other stitches. I'm sure it's really bad. Like, I'm gonna call my mom and my sister and see what I messed up. But yeah, I do feel really good about how it has started. So I'm going to bring this downstairs and maybe do a little bit more. We'll see. But I do definitely need to make dinner. To sit here and tell you that the only footage that I have for today is that clip of me in the morning doing my to-do list, because I just got so like caught up in work. I was just on the grind, but that is not the case at all. Today was honestly a horrible day. And it's kind of funny because yesterday was such a great day. And I'm not talking like it was a great day because I did a bunch of stuff, but it was just a day that left me feeling fulfilled. Like, I worked on my crochet and then I started the embroidery, and I actually ended up getting really into it. Like, I did quite a bit of it just to start out. So yeah, it was just a fantastic day. I felt great at the end of it, but today I just have not been doing very much, which I feel like shit about. And once again, it's not that I feel guilty for not being productive, because I am definitely out of that mindset. I more so feel guilty because what I've been procrastinating with hasn't been something that's filled my cup. It's just been like a numbing experience, and I've just gotten hyper fixated on it, and it's so frustrating. I think it's just because we're trying to figure out my medication, but I am literally unable to pull myself away from it. And I've always struggled with that, but it feels like more extreme lately. But I am treating myself with kindness, and I am just going to take the rest of the night to try and get what I can done and then make a plan accordingly. What we're talking about now would kind of go along with my goal of limiting time on time wasters and all of that. And the way that I've been doing that is, once again, using an app. It's called Freedom. Once again, not sponsored, but it essentially is an app where it will like block access to certain websites or apps when you set it to. So I have really been utilizing that, and it has been helping a lot. It's just sometimes I forget to set it up before, and then it doesn't automatically open, and it's something that's kind of easier for me to get around. So it can be really, really, really frustrating, because it's something that I will find myself really being able to work around when I don't really have that discipline there. So it can be very annoying, but it's really helpful when it does work and I actually am using it. So tomorrow we will start fresh, we will try again, and tonight I'm just going to make the best of it. Slight change in plans here. So it's the next day, and basically we are going to be doing a part 2 of this video. I feel like all of the footage that I've gotten I'm really proud of, and there's like nothing that I would be cutting, at least enough for it to make sense to put everything in one. So we are just going to be dividing it into another video. This New Year's reset is just ending up being like my life, but I am loving doing this series, honestly. So I hope that you guys are enjoying watching it too. I think it is so much fun to show you guys practical ways to input these into my routine. So yesterday obviously wasn't the ideal day, but I ended up kind of turning it around a little bit. I looked at my to-do list and I looked at the weekly tasks specifically that I had to do, and I made sure that I got all of those done. So for that day, it was just vacuuming the stairs and vacuuming our bedroom, vacuuming upstairs, like just a really quick vacuum. And then it was also washing and styling my hair, which I did. So all I do is like wash it and then take the Dyson and just make it straight. And then I sleep in the little thingy that everyone does, that big like rod thingy, and it does actually work out really nicely, clearly. But this morning I have gotten off to a really great start with things again. So I'm not letting like one bad day, which wasn't even really a bad day. I ended up taking time after I did all that to actually work on my embroidery more, and I've realized that even though I'm just starting with that, that is actually bringing me so much joy. Like I genuinely feel so good when I go to sleep after having done that, and I am thrilled about that. Obviously, for some reason Archer is like on my slipper. He keeps going like that, so that's the noise that you can hear. But I am back to filming today, but you will see that in the next video. So I'm going to be going over the other things that I'm doing for the other goals on my to-do list, such as keeping up with content creation, my spirituality goal, my finances goal, which is a major one. I can't really remember what other ones I hadn't gone over, but I think that's going to be a lot of fun, so you guys will see that shortly. Stay tuned for it. Don't forget to subscribe so then you don't miss it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in another new video very soon. Bye!